Hi, I'm Michael Griswold. Imagine this. Your phone rings.
You look down and you see that it's your ex calling you. And instead of feeling nervous or anxious or unsure of what you're going to say, you feel confident. You feel poised. In fact, you know exactly how the call is going to go even before you answer the phone. And on the other end of the phone, your ex says this. Hey, I really miss you, and I think it was a mistake for us to break up. Can we get together to talk about how to work things out?
So tell me, how would that feel? How would it feel to hear those words from the person that you miss so much right now?
Well, if it would feel like somebody took a 2,000-pound weight off of your chest and got rid of that stabbing feeling in your stomach, then pay very close attention. Because in the next few moments, you're going to discover not only how to get your ex back, but how to make them want you. How to use a simple psychological trigger to get them to remind them of how much they love you, how much they miss you, and how much fun they had with you to begin with. To remind them of all the reasons that they were initially attracted to you. Listen, you know as well as I do that trying to convince your ex to get back together after a breakup is like trying to fall asleep. The harder you try, the worse it gets. And this is for two main reasons. One, trying to convince your ex to get back together puts you in a position of weakness and them in the position of power and is the lone decision maker. This puts a lot of pressure on you. And two, after a breakup, our emotions are so scattered, our hearts are so broken, and sometimes we're so paralyzed with fear, it's a wonder we can even retain our sanity, much less act in a way that's attractive. Our friends are no help because though they love us and they want to support us, they don't feel it like we do. They just don't get it. They tell us to move on or to go find someone else, but we don't want someone else. You want him or you want her. And so we stumble through trying harder and harder. And oftentimes we end up driving them farther and farther away. Maybe this is the case for you. Maybe your ex doesn't return your calls or your emails or texts anymore. Certainly you know of people who used to be madly in love and now can't stand to be within 50 feet of each other. How does that happen? The fact is, every relationship has challenges, conflicts, disagreements, normal relationship stuff. And sometimes people do break up because they're mad about some of those things.
But listen to this, because this is absolutely crucial.
Relationships may end because of disagreements and conflicts, but relationships die and never come back to life because of what happens after the breakup. It's what you do now, after the breakup, that determines whether you get another shot or whether your ex is gone forever.
And so since the thought of your ex being with someone else may drive you crazy, you look around for advice, someone who can help you restore this relationship with the person that you spent so much time investing in.
And all the advice that you find sounds the same. Hey, use no contact for a while, focus on yourself, and after a few weeks, call them up for coffee and blammo, wedding bells are ringing. Well, sorry, but that's just not the way it works. Relationships are never black and white. They're infinite shades of gray, and people, like relationships, are not one size fits all.
But here's the great news. You see, your ex doesn't need to be convinced, they don't need to be manipulated, they don't need to be hypnotized. In fact, they don't need to hear any magic words or even any perfectly crafted words.
They simply need to be reminded. Simply reminded of all the things they love about you. Simply reminded of all the things that made them attracted to you in the first place. And simply reminded of all the reasons, their own reasons, the things that they determined on their own, that you guys had a fun, great, satisfying relationship to begin with. Of course, you can't just call them up and say, hey, remember how great I am? Because that's not going to work. But there are some hardwired psychological triggers that your ex has that can do it for you. All you have to do is know which triggers to use and when to use them.
I know firsthand what it feels like to be in this position. See, a few years ago, I met this girl, and instantly we both felt this spark. And from that, we created a relationship that was full of passion and excitement. We had that great relationship until she decided that I wasn't important enough to keep her from moving to another state. I gotta tell you, that feeling of rejection was almost unbearable. I kept having these thoughts in my head saying, what's wrong with me? Why is it that other people can create and sustain great relationships, even though they have arguments and disagreements, but but mine end up failing? Well, that question became so heavy and so unbearable upon me that I literally had to do something about it.
For the next several months, I spent over $25,000 on personal development, seminars and retreats and coaching. I read over 237 books on relationships, conflict resolution, grief, loss, romance, seduction, sex, everything having to do with relationships. And from that, I distilled it down to a system that I wondered if I could apply to my situation. Well, I did, and very shortly thereafter, her and I were back together.
And so it got me thinking, how many other people are there out there who are in the same position that I'm in, who could use this exact system to get back with the person that they love?
And so I started applying it and offering it to people. And over the last 18 months, I've been speaking to hundreds of people, one-on-one, on the phone, as a coaching service, and further refining this system to be the best and most exhaustive course on how to get back with your ex and how to make your relationship as thriving and as passionate as you want it to be. Now, from those experiences, a powerful and proven system emerged, something entitled the M3 system: mindset, method, and moving forward. And in this system, it encompasses everything that you need to know in order to re-attract your ex, have them fall in love with you again, and make your relationship all that it's potential to be. Here's a brief list of the things that we go over in this system and the things that you'll discover. Before we do anything else, we have to develop and redevelop confidence. Here's why. Emotions are like the flu. They're contagious.
If you're trying to interact with your ex, but you don't feel confident, it doesn't matter how sincere your words are. If you're still afraid that they're going to reject you, they're not even going to pay attention to the words that you say. Instead, they're going to feel the way that you do.
So we start first with redeveloping your confidence, redeveloping your poise, so that instead of being nervous and anxious, you feel like you know how things are going to turn out. And that is the emotion that gets communicated.
A staggering 93% of our communication is nonverbal. It's not the words that we say, but it's how we say it and what are we saying with our bodies as we say it.
We start talking in a strategic and step-by-step manner. You discover exactly what it is to do. This is the second part of the M3 system, the method. So we talk about what happened. Why isn't your ex returning your calls now? And what you can do to make sure that they do. One word that changes the balance of power so you aren't the one chasing your ex anymore. The two things your ex wants to hear from you in order to get back together. If you miss out on these, there's no way that you guys are going to work out. The most powerful psychological human motivation and how you can use it to make your ex want you more than you want them. The 3 relationship deal breakers that let you know to run to the hills from this relationship. The exact words to use to get your ex to meet up with you again, guaranteeing not only that they'll meet up with you, but they will look forward to seeing you again. What no contact and limited contact really mean, and when to apply them and when not. And I gotta tell you, this is not what all the supposed gurus talk about. No contact and limited contact is not what everybody says it is. It's much deeper and it's much more powerful when used correctly. Why sending the breakup letter can blow up in your face and drive your ex even farther away than they are now. Why getting your ex back isn't enough, and how to know what to do once you do get back to make sure that it works this time. This is what I call the relationship resurrection. Not just getting your ex back, that's easy. How to know whether you still have a chance or whether it's too late. What to do about long distance relationships. What to do if you live with the person, work with the person, have kids with the person. And then, the power to persuade.
And this is very different than the ability to manipulate or to trick. You see, persuasion is a powerful tool that allows you to communicate with your ex in a way that your interests line up with theirs. Manipulation, on the other hand, is a twisting of someone's arm that only lasts for a little while and then blows up in your face.
And then the third part of the M3 system, the moving forward. We talked a little bit about this. What to do once you're back together to make sure that it continues to work out. How to make the intimacy and the sexual part of your relationship blaze with fire, how to make them want you and want no one else but you, and how to stay off of the merry-go-round of madness. This is what I call the merry-go-round of madness, when you spend all of your time speculating on what they are thinking and doing and might be doing. And how to prevent what happening the last time from happening this time. And much, much more. So here's what to do. Simply scroll down and review the 3 options below this video. Decide which one suits your needs best, and when you're ready, click the Add to Cart button and get instant access to all your course materials. Of course, I don't know whether this relationship, this person, is worth the investment of your time to learn the simple steps to get them back and to recreate a relationship that's worthwhile. Only you know that. But this I do know. No one likes to be alone. And if you don't take action today to get them back, they will find someone to keep them company. And when they do, they start making new memories, having new experiences, and developing new feelings. The longer you wait, the more of that you have to fight against to reestablish the intimacy and exclusive love that you once shared together. You know, if you're like I was when my heart got broken, and like the hundreds of thousands of other people whose hearts get broken every day, there's almost nothing you wouldn't do to regain the love, the intimacy, and the relationship that you shared with your ex. You try just about anything, but what you really want, what you desperately want, is something that's guaranteed to work. Not something that might work or has a chance of working or worked for some guy once or some girl, but something that's guaranteed. And that's exactly what the M3 system is. I've spent years of my own life, tears rolling down my own cheeks, and heartache in my own chest to develop it. It works. I guarantee it. Not only that, but if you don't like it for any reason, simply send me an email, and I'll refund every last penny back to you. Why? Because my #1 ambition with this course is to have 1,000 more success stories of people's romantic lives being changed.
So listen, to have your story included in one of those thousands of testimonials, simply do this. Scroll down below and take a look at all that's included in the M3 system. Then, take a look at the 3 options that you have. Choose whichever one is most empowering for you. And then, once you've made that decision, simply click on that button. On the next page, you'll fill out a short form, and then you'll be given immediate access to see all of the benefits of the M3 system. And after you do, and you and your ex are back together again, and you guys are walking hand in hand, or maybe even laying in your bed together, you can look back on this as the day that you decided to make it happen.